We should not tolerate colorist or darkist remarks towards darker skinned women. I think that the same kind of respect should be applied to Black men. So if you have been in the Black social media space, by now you are probably aware that the gender war is at an all-time high. One of the main complaints you will hear from Black women is that Black men are colorists. They don't like them, specifically don't like dark-skinned women. Now, Black men will push back and say, no, it's not about the color of your skin, it's your attitude. And the conversation continues. But when there are situations such as what happened with celebrity chef Wei, this adds fuel to the fire of the ever-raging gender war. Celebrity chef Wei was canceled due to comments he made a few years ago that specifically targeted Black women for darkist insults. Different dark-skinned women who had been trolled by him, bullied by him online, or harassed basically stood up and made it a point to let different sponsorships know, or made it a point to let people know that he was saying things that were really disrespectful and that were really demeaning, specifically towards dark-skinned women. I'm reminded of a play that dark-skinned activist Rashida Strober made, where it's literally called The Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge. And it is based upon this whole idea of, once you piss a woman off enough, she's gonna have to start fighting back. And this whole situation to me really embodies that idea. Now, the DA office that he works for in Texas has come up in his defense, but despite that, he has lost a lot of opportunities. And as a result of the things that he said a couple of years ago, different companies have had to disengage. You've had different endorsements that he's lost, and his career has certainly taken a hit. Now, he did release an apology saying that it was a time in his life where he was struggling with alcoholism, he wasn't in his right state of mind, and so a lot of those comments and things that he said were coming from a place where he was sick. And truthfully, I have many feelings regarding this whole situation. First off, to me, it is totally not acceptable that dark-skinned women be bullied specifically for being dark-skinned. So I understand why businesses would need to distance themselves from somebody who had that past, because the optics could just be really bad. Also, at the same time, I do believe in second chances, and I think anytime people are specifically judged based upon mistakes they did years ago, if we were all held to that standard, many of us probably wouldn't even have a job today. I do believe in trying to create a space for people to grow and evolve and mature and make mistakes and then do better. But the thing about the situation that is rather peculiar, and the reason that I think his apology will probably never be considered sincere, is because before he got caught out, I didn't see any evidence of him going out and saying, hey, what I did was wrong. I didn't see any evidence of him trying to make amends with people. It seems like he only apologized as soon as he got called out by darker skinned women. And as an individual who said that he struggled with alcoholism and the disease associated with that, there is a process that usually go through to get to sobriety. For example, many of you guys know I've been involved in a 12-step program. It's not AA, but it's Al-Anon, which is closely related to AA. And a part of that 12-step program, there is one step that talks about making amends. And what it is realize that you have harmed anyone. If it's within your power to do so, go and make amends, go repent, go and try to right the wrong. And that is a really pivotal step in the entire 12-step process, something that alcoholics themselves go through, or people who know alcoholics or friends or families of alcoholics will also go through should they decide to be a part of that program. So being that he said that he was previously an alcoholic and has since gotten sobriety, it's interesting to me that he did not try to make amends. We don't see that. And so that's why some people are probably not going to take what he said seriously. Not to mention that he also has an Asian wife, and y'all already know that even if he didn't have a whole past of saying all these really disparaging remarks about Black women, the fact that he had an Asian wife already would have made him a target. So it's just, the optics are all around bad. One thing that I will say about cancel culture is that while I do agree that it's important that there be a level of respect, and we should not tolerate colorist or darkist remarks towards darker skinned women, I think that the same kind of respect should be applied to Black men. And that is one area where I think the cancel culture is not always so equal. I immediately go back to the scenario that happened a few years back where someone who was working for a large media company was found saying Black men can't even die right. She was responding to that and laughing about that comment. A horribly demeaning and disrespectful and hideous thing to say, and yet she wasn't canceled. There was all kinds of likes, there was all kinds of laughs, and women are constantly going online making very colorist remarks about Black men, and no one really cares. It's not that big of a deal. But when it is the other way around, all hell breaks loose. I wish the level of respect was equal. And the optics of this alone, of a Black woman and Black men really bickering and a Black man losing his job as a result, the optics of it alone look really bad. I'm not saying what he did was right, because I don't think it was acceptable, but I'm saying it speaks to, I think, the larger division that we're seeing online, which is being fueled. And I think one way to try to eradicate that is to make sure and ensure that there is respect for both sides. A ton of colorism, and Dr. T is on John breaks this down in detail in a video he did a few months back, where he breaks down institutionally the way darker skinned men also experience colorism. They just don't talk about it a ton.
We're talking about colorism, and we're mainly talking about it because as often as I hear it brought up, it's almost never brought up in terms of men. It's brought up with women, Black women in particular, so often you would think the two are synonymous.
And so again, I will advocate for darker skinned people. I think they should be treated with respect. And I think that if they are discriminated against specifically, that should be handled. I just think that it should be an equal amount of respect and concern for men and women, because trust me, while a lot of women are being turned down due to things like that, men are getting killed. Black men are getting profiled. They're not getting jobs. Like, it impacts women and men both, but the way it impacts men is very substantial. And there needs to be a heavy level of concern also for the plight of darker skinned Black men. My thoughts, but what do you think? Do you agree or do you disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.